All right, last one.
Oh, this is the McDonald's story. Okay, so Will comes in this morning, and I got the news feed, and I'm just hanging out over there, and I say, and because I know Will likes McDonald's news, and so, and probably Vin would have an opinion too.
I'm sure he does.
But I say, hey, Will, you see this one? Because it showed up in my news feed. McDonald's has a new menu item, which is a donut, but it's like a shareable donut. It's a glazed donut, but it's shareable. You can pull it apart, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 7 segments, and they're all like little balls, and they remind me of Timbits. People don't know what Timbits are. One of the local major coffee shops called Tim Hortons. They have the center of the donut, which they call Timbits because their store is called Tim Hortons. And it's famous. People show up to the sporting event. They show up to the early morning hockey.
I mean, we have a box of them here all the time.
In here, there's always a box around. You can grab one of those. You need a couple calories, a little bit of energy, or whatever it might be.
And they're just like mini donut balls.
That's it. It's the center. People call it the center of the donut. And I know Dunkin' Donuts in the States has the same thing. And so this is an established thing. Mm-hmm. Now, McDonald's didn't do that. McDonald's instead did something in the more typical donut shape, but instead it's made up of essentially Timbits glued together. They're not glued, they're baked together. And you pull them apart and share it that way. Mm. But it comes in one wrapper. And it's the simplest type of donut, which is just a glaze. So I just mentioned this to Will, and I say, hey, they got this new donut coming out. And Will absolutely loses it on me, on McDonald's, on Mo, anybody in his path. There's like a tornado going on. And I was like, whoa, man, what's the problem here? Yeah. And he starts explaining to me. Well, actually, I'm going to let him go ahead and explain right now because it's his thing. He will tell you why he's so angry right now.
Well, at first glance, I was offended. Like when I was reading the story on my own. Because it looks primarily like a specific donut from Japan. And Japan donuts are like really good. Let me search for one right now. And they're very specifically shaped. They look like a ring that has pieces that can be ripped off, just like the McDonald's donut. But the problem is not I feel like McDonald's didn't just rip them off on the shape. I think that they ripped them off on the ingredients. Because in Japanese donuts, they have this ingredient called mochi. And mochi is like this glutinous substance that makes things chewy and stretchable. So I feel like if McDonald's is going to rip them off, I think they should add mochi inside. That's it. And I was really offended, but now I cooled off. So I'm okay. I'm still going to try this out.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not that angry.
I was. Because at first glance, I was like, why are you copying Japanese donuts? Like, why can't you just make regular donut holes? Like Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, my feeling was if they had done the mini donuts that weren't pull apart, that people would have been. Well, there's two things. There's the complexity of storage and distribution. They get to have just a plain wrapper for that, which and I know McDonald's thinks about these things because of mass production.
For sure, yes.
So they're thinking, okay, you got to have a box and someone's got to have separate tongs to put in the box and it's another employee or whatever. But then also, I feel people may have had the same reaction you had, minus the Japanese component. They would have had the reaction in relationship to the pre-existing Timbits or the donut holes that already exist elsewhere, Dunkin' or whatever. They'd say McDonald's is just doing that same thing. Mm-hmm. This seems more fun. You pull it apart, you share it, whatever. Now, I will note that there's a difference on this donut compared to the one that you showed off. It does have a centerpiece.
But there is similarity. You can see it, right?
Absolutely, but there is a centerpiece. Which to me, a key factor with a donut is that there's a hole in the center. What's weird about this is there is no hole in the center.
No.
It's another pull apart piece on the inside. Mm-hmm. This is more, there's a pull apart type of cinnamon bun that kind of works like this as well, where it would just be different pieces that you would pull off of it.
Are they like Kaiser rolls kind of thing? Like, are they square?
Well, you can do it with like bread, but I'm talking about a
bread.
dessert one,
Oh,
which would
okay.
be kind of like a cinnamon pull apart. I think you can probably even write that. Pull apart cinnamon. Yeah, check that out. And I think the idea this one is larger, and you would just pull a piece off of it, like I think the good.
Is this a,
Well, no, just click
this
on.
one?
Actually, go down more to that one to the left in the center. In the center, actually. Sure. Yeah. So it's like little nubs. Now this is much bigger.
I've never seen it this shape before.
Yeah, and it's little chunks that you just pull a little piece out of it. So you don't have the huge commitment of a whole deal. But anyway, these type of dessert things have existed. I think you are just really such a fan of this particular Japanese
I'm very biased, yes.
donut that you just wished that you could pick it up at McDonald's in a drive-thru. Now, the other thing I said to you was, this to me seems more like a specialty item with the mochi involved.
Yeah.
And
It
McDonald's,
is the secret ingredient.
McDonald's is mass production. They're going to sell this thing for $1, maybe a little bit more, depending on the market. And they can't be involved in the mochi business, ordering all that stuff up. I'd be really impressed if they did.
Yeah.
But they got to be thinking about the value structure. They got to be thinking about the
Yeah, they have margins to worry about.
Oh my goodness! You imagine them just even calling up Japan. They're like, okay, we need
500 million pounds of mochi flour.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, this is a little much. So, but we'll see how it does. You and I both had a little bit of a report when they tried mini donuts in the past. We weren't too happy with it.
No.
It was not anything special at all. Maybe they're going to nail it on this one. The donut game is a tough game. Not everybody is the likes of Krispy Kreme or even those specialty donut shops.
Yeah.
You kind of have to adjust your expectations when you're talking about mass production. But I still presume this thing's going to be better than what they put out in the past. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's a march towards some level of improvement. And hopefully it can be enough for Willie Doo not to completely lose it in the drive-thru,
Sure.
cause problems and get arrested. We'd prefer that didn't happen. So McDonald's better bring it on this one.
I'll give it a shot.
McDonald's better bring it on this one.